The man did not realize it. So he left God and he was on the journey of pursuit of things. So when he finds one, he loses value. He dumps it, he looks for another. When he finds it, he loses value. A point comes, what is this? He now discovered that path apart from God is the path of death. Every time God is no longer in view, you have taken the journey of death. And that is why nothing satisfies again. Because the essence of man was designed to be satisfied by the continual infilling of God. So when you are born again, he said, him that is born of God overcometh the world. When a man is born of God, he turns away from the journey of vanity. That part which is a departure from God, he turns away from it and he comes back to focus. He begins to seek Elohim again. He said, whoever is born of God overcometh the world. The word is the word cosmos. What it means is institution. It means government. It means administration. Every protocol that is set in place that provokes a departure from the presence. He said, when you are born again, you begin to live above that protocol. All of a sudden, you come back to that point again where intercourse is reestablished. Now, if you enter into God, you will discover there are three realities that governs the civilization of God. The first reality that governs the civilization of God is the will of God. The second reality that governs the civilization of God is the wisdom of God. The third reality that governs the civilization of God are the purposes of God. This is why your prayer can't change the will of God. Because the will of God existed before you started praying. So your praying is correct when you align with the will of God. Because that reality, it existed before all things. In fact, civilization emanated from that reality. That's why when you do things in your own way, God doesn't hallow it. Before you do anything, he shows you how to do it. Because it's not just about doing it, it's about how it is done. It must be consistent with the wisdom of God for the blessings of God to come upon it. You know, when I was much younger, I thought ministry was about gifts. I was a mighty orator, so I gathered my friends and I told them something is about to happen. And after talking to them for 2 weeks, I now started the program. And when I started the program, I spoke to over 100 people. Only 12 of my friends came. And those who came to sympathize with me because they knew it was a failure. And I now realize there is a strategy beyond human intelligence to bring administration to the purposes of God. If it is not consistent with the will of God, the blessings of God will not rest. I now went back to God and God told me, be here praying. And I prayed there for over 10 years. When I finished praying, that oracle came out of himself. You know God is strange. Have you contemplated for a second that before the beginning God was? Where was God? Before the spirit realm was created, where was God? That means God lived in himself. So God is the house of God and God is God. Now, attempt for a second to imagine God. You will see how futile your brain is. You will discover this tool called your brain in matters of ordination is weak. So you will seek him day and night. Because until that wisdom crystallizes, your brain can't travel too far. He said, pray for long. I was praying, I thought I was wasting time. Meanwhile, that was consistent to my own ordination. Pray! And after I prayed for a long time, he came out from where he dwelt outside time. And he looked upon me. He gave me one instruction. And what happened to me in 3 months was superior to everything that would have happened in 10 years. I now discovered the wisdom of God is superior to human's intelligence. So in the civilization of God, there's the wisdom of God. And in the civilization of God, there are the purposes of God. So your life will not count until you live according to that divine purpose that necessitated your creation. You know, when John went to Zion, he interacted with the 24 elders. Now, these are the beings of wisdom and highest authority in heaven because they are closest to God in proximity to the throne. And when he saw the elders worshiping, the only thing the elders were saying was, holy, holy, holy is the Lord. And then he saw other beasts that were there. And he said they worship day and night forever and ever. And the only thing they were saying is, all things were created for your pleasure. That was when John realized the value of life is not in its longevity. The value of life is in the degree that it gives pleasure to God. Because all things were created for thy pleasure. So when you fulfill purpose, you give pleasure to God. That's why